They say every house has a story. Most are about joy, family, and a life well lived. But some are different. My story isn't about the people who lived here before me, but about what they left behind. When I first saw this place, I was thrilled. It was a fixer-upper, sure, but it had character. The old wooden doors, the dusty windows. I saw potential where others saw decay. The price was unbelievable, a true steal. The real estate agent said the previous owners just left, didn't want to deal with renovations. I thought nothing of it. I saw it as a blank canvas, a chance to turn this old ruin into a home. In the first few days, I was so excited I'd have music playing in the background as I tore down the old wallpaper. One night, while in the living room, it started. It was a faint sound, a soft tapping. I convinced myself it was just the old pipes or the house settling. But it didn't stop. It followed me. When I'd move from one room to the next, the sound would follow. It would start from the wall nearest to me and stop when I moved away. At first, I was just curious. Then I started to find it a bit amusing. I told myself it must be a coincidence. But on the second night, it was different. When I returned to the room, there was another tap, but it was much louder this time. Tap, tap, tap. It was more deliberate, more insistent. And one night as I lay in bed, I woke up to a rhythmic tapping on the wall right next to me. I got annoyed. I sat up and knocked back on the wall in defiance. The sound stopped immediately. I went back to sleep, feeling triumphant, but a few minutes later it started again. This time, it wasn't a tap. It was a continuous sound. The sounds changed. No longer tapping, they became a scraping, like fingernails dragging across wood. It sent a chill down my spine. I tried to convince myself it was just rats. I set traps but never caught a thing. I asked my neighbors about it, but they said they hadn't heard anything. "Your house is old," one of them said. "It has its own personality." I didn't find that comforting. Now I started hearing voices. They were no longer just mechanical sounds. There was a faint, unintelligible whispering. I would press my ear to the wall, trying to decipher the words. But the closer I got, the more the sounds faded. The moment I pulled away, they would start again. They were mocking me. They were playing a game. I felt like something was hiding behind the walls, watching me, laughing. I tried calling exterminators, but they found nothing. They set up thermal sensors and small cameras, but everything came back completely normal. They looked at me as if I were insane. After a month, I was living in fear. I avoided my bedroom at night and slept in the living room, but the sounds followed me. They would come from the living room walls, too. I became gaunt, suffering from insomnia. Every day, I would come home, dreading what was to come. One night, I decided to put an end to it. I had to know what was causing this. I had exhausted every other option. I started to tear down the wallpaper in the main room. I was looking for anything, any clue, any sign. At first, I found nothing. Then, beneath a layer of paper, I saw something. There was writing on the plaster, in a shaky, childlike hand. "Let us out." The words sent a cold shock through my body. There was something behind those walls. It wasn't a rat, and it wasn't pipes. It was something, or someone. As I tore down more of the wallpaper, the sounds grew louder. The whispers were now a chant. It echoed from every wall in the house. Let us out, let us out, let us out. The voices were no longer faint. They were clear, sharp, and distressing. They were the voices of children, small children, crying and pleading to be freed. I couldn't take it. I ran out of the house, got into my car, and drove away. I didn't go back for a week. I stayed with a friend and told him everything. He looked at me with sympathy, but I knew he didn't fully believe me. On the seventh day, I felt a pull to return. It felt like my own will was no longer mine. Something was calling me back. I returned. The sounds were still there. They were fainter, but they were there. I sat in the living room and heard the whispers again. But this time, they were saying something else. They were saying my name. Anthony. Anthony. The echoes came from everywhere. I still live here. I can't leave. They won't let me. They don't just want to be let out of the walls. They want company. Every night the whispers get closer. And now, I know, soon they won't be on the other side of the wall anymore. They're going to be in the room with me. I've started feeling the cold every time I get close to the walls. I feel touches on my shoulder. I know they're close.